Hi everyone, thank you for coming. We are Audiobook Lovin, a month-long series celebrating audiobooks, hosted by Viviana, Enchantress of Books, and Kelly, Books from Books and Kisses. This is Julianne Walker, author, awesome person, love her. So Julianne, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and your books that you write?
So I live in Chicago with my husband, no children, and I write romantic suspense. I have 2 series out. The first one that I started writing in 2012 is Black Knights Incorporated. I like to say that they are Grease Monkey Motorcycle Mechanics by day and Uncle Sam's Last Resort by night. So Spies on Bikes is kind of the tagline there. And then I write a second series called the Deep Six series, which follows a team of former Navy SEALs as they search for the Holy Grail of sunken Spanish shipwrecks. And kind of the tagline for that one is 6 men, millions of gold and silver lying in wait on the ocean floor, and a past that refuses to let them forget that the Navy SEAL motto is the only easy day was yesterday. So they kind of get dragged back into missions type of thing. They're trying to be treasure hunters and get themselves rich, but they keep...
Someone's always getting in trouble.
Yes, someone is always getting in trouble.
We have to go back to Navy SEAL mode.
Exactly, we're back in SEAL mode.
Yeah.
Yes.
So both series are very alpha-driven, but military type of, protectors. Is there a particular reason that you write in that genre, or that you like to do that?
So I do have quite a few people in my family who are in the military or were in the military. And when I moved to Chicago, I was originally from Oklahoma, and then went to Chicago via Michigan. Spent 5 years in Michigan. I was between teaching jobs because I am trained to be a teacher, mathematics, which is crazy that I write books and I'm a math teacher. But yeah, so I moved to Chicago and I was between teaching jobs, and to sort of fill my time I started, because I love, to support the military any way I can, I started volunteering at the USO. And at the time I really got into romantic suspense novels, Suzanne Brockman and Maya Banks and Tara Jansen and just a ton of romantic suspense authors. And it was one of those things where like any author will tell you, it becomes the question of what if. Well, this is an interesting story, and what if? And so I knew I wanted to write military romantic suspense, but I wanted it to have sort of a flair and be different. And I was actually leaving my volunteering position at the USO, and a local bike club was doing a blood drive, or a blood ride as they call it. And there's all these grizzly leathered guys on bikes, and they're super big teddy bears, and they're doing all this good work, and I thought, what if they were, a covert, these guys that I wanted to write about were still military, they did covert operations, but their cover was as a biker club or biker mechanics, because they're gritty, they're tattooed, they're, like to wear leather type of thing, and that's kind of where Black Knights Incorporated was born. So, and I always tell people, I think that, really making it in this industry is writing the right book at the right time. And in 2012 was like the year after Sons of Anarchy had blown up, so everyone was like, motorcycles. Yes, and so I credit that as being sort of the catalyst that really launched the series. People were hungry for that, so.
It's also an interesting series because I think a lot of the characters actually know how to do the bikes.
Right.
And it's almost like they do a business outside of the business.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
They do. They run a legitimate custom bike building business, but then that's what we say. We said, motorcycle mechanics or bike builders by day, but Uncle Sam's Last Resort by night, because they really are spies. They go in and take care of business.
Yeah,
so.
and that motorcycle groups and stuff like that tend to have such a bad rap.
Right.
When it comes down, even within our own industry, they're like the bad boys.
Exactly, and some authors really do that, because they do kind of cue off of the Sons of Anarchy, where these are the anti-heroes, these are bad guys doing bad things, but the flip of my series is that these are good guys doing good things, just under the guise of a bicycle or a motorcycle club. Yeah. Bicycle. that would have been a hilarious series.
They're not bicycles. They're motorcycles.
Oh my goodness.
Oh God, that would have been fun. Because now I'm going to have that image as I'm listening to the book. Well, I may have to do a mock
Not
cover.
nearly as alpha.
No, I may have to do a mock cover just for shits and giggles. So how many books are in that series, though?
So far, there are 9 that are published. There will be 12 in total. And anybody who follows the series knows that the President of the United States, who was the one who sort of formed the whole thing, has now been kind of cast out of office. It's past he's done his 8 years, and there's a new president in town for the country. And she is not super interested in the Black Knights. She more wants to. Oops, we got people coming in. She more wants to kind of do her own thing, but not to do too many spoilers. But the Black Knights, as readers are reading them right now, will be 12 books long, and then there will be more coming with a sort of new twist.
For those that may have noticed, there's been a change in venue because there's a lot of things going on here at the convention, and we're going to actually be showing this a month out. So it's always good fun to be flexible and agile, I think is the good word for it.
Absolutely.
So you're talking about your series, 12 books?
Yes, 12 books, but there will be a twist. There will be more coming after 12. We'll see how it goes.
Got it.
Yeah.
So the next book, is there anything that you can share from the upcoming series?
So the next book is coming out in July, so super quick. It features Dagan Zollner and Chelsea Duvall, which readers have kind of been introduced to them in the series going along, and there's a lot of reader excitement about the fact that these two will finally get their happily ever after. Maybe. I don't want to give it away. But will finally get their happily ever after because they've sort of been they bicker with each other, and Chelsea's very quippy, and she always puts Dagan in her place. So they're kind of a fun couple just to watch their banter. So I'm excited for readers to get it. It's set in the UK, so we're outside of Chicago, outside of the bike shop, so a little bit different locale. But I think I'm excited about the book. I like it.
Yeah, it's as a listener and reader of that series, I'm like, they're so gonna hook up.
Yeah, right. I know.
They should just get together already. Because they're gonna.
Right, exactly.
Do you get emails from readers asking about like couples and that you kind of like?
Oh yeah, the funny thing is that I get from readers, because I write a series, and it's a group of guys, and so it features a new guy and a new gal, new hero, heroine, every book that we're going along. But readers are still very interested in couples from the past, and so I get a lot of reader email from people who are asking, have they purchased a house yet? Or, are they thinking about baby number 2 or something like that? And I always think, wow, I really am not like the book ended for me. I'm not really thinking about what their life is unless it pertains to a book that's coming up, unless they're featured. And so that is funny that I get these emails from people who are totally invested as if these are real people and I have their entire lives planned out in my head. So, and I don't, I'm sorry to say.
Yeah. Well, it would be very time consuming if you did.
Right,
I mean,
exactly.
Every little aspect, houses, dogs, cats,
Exactly.
Seriously.
But people are very interested in animals and babies. They want to know.
When will we get the next Deep Six book?
That is up in the air right now. So my publishing house is thinking maybe late 2018, beginning 2019, but we're a little bit unsure about that right now. We're going to finish BKI, and that is totally market driven, not because I don't love my Deep Six series, because I absolutely do. But BKI is selling better right now. And we can go into, tons of reasons why that is. A lot of readers like to finish a series before they jump onto a next series with an author. And so we just decided in terms of marketability and sales and stuff like that, we need to go ahead and finish BKI, and then we'll ramp up Deep Six and just give readers those books, fairly quickly.
Exactly, because it's just one of those where you're trying to divide the time, and readers just want to know if there's a baby or,
exactly.
or what's going on with the next couple, or with them, like they're going to get it right. So was writing Avi's book bittersweet? I know people were anticipating it a lot.
Oh, I don't know that I would use the term bittersweet. I would use the term terrifying, because he was such a fan favorite and such a beloved character that I felt a lot of pressure to do him justice, to really give him the story that he needed and the heroine that he needed, and readers who've read the book find out that Ozzy's a far more complicated character than they thought he was, and so I was a bit terrified to sort of make him darker, because people loved that he was a Star Trek geek, and he loved his 80s hair bands, and he was always the funny one. And so for readers who've already read the book, you find out that he has a fairly tortured past, and he has abandonment issues, and he's a much deeper, much darker guy than what they had surface seen. And so I was terrified to write his book because I knew that was Ozzy, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the readers hadn't known that was Ozzy. And so I didn't know if they would embrace him in his whole as opposed to his just surface that they had fallen in love with. But so far, so good. Readers tend to they love his book, and they love the deep, dark Ozzy that's underneath that sort of flashy exterior.
It's like they say people are like onions, there's multiple layers.
Exactly.
And sometimes what we provide in public, even if it's among our friends,
right,
it's still not the whole picture.
Exactly.
So getting that deeper insight to the characters sometimes might be shocking.
Right.
But not as shocking as knowing that he might, like, if he would have had like a hot pink room,
right?
Exactly. That might have been like, dude, we would have called you.
Exactly.
Like,
right.
No,
that's
to be
not
a rewrite.
Right. Yes. Yes. We demand you have a do-over on this book.
Secret projects.
Yes, secret projects. So I do have a trilogy in mind. My agent is kind of excited about it. My editor, my publishing house is kind of excited about it. I don't know how fans will react to it. It's a bit of a departure for me. It has romance, it has suspense. It's not necessarily going to be a romantic suspense. That's all I'm going to give you. But yeah, I'm super excited about it. It stretches me a little bit. So as a writer, that's always fun when you have to kind of like press it against your box.
Yeah.
Right outside of it.
So June is Audiobook Month.
Yep.
Do you listen to audiobooks?
I don't listen to audiobooks. I have a really tough time being read to. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, I started reading when I was super young. My mom was an elementary teacher and taught me to read very young. Mm-hmm. And so I have always read to myself, and I do my own voices, and I have, I have my own thing in my head, and so it's difficult for me to be read to because I don't feel like they do it right. But I will say that I generally have only tended to try to listen to an audiobook of a book that I've already read type of thing. So it does occur to me that if I listen to it brand new, if it was brand new material, I might be more into it. So I do want to give it a go because I love getting out on my bicycle in the summertime. And so that's one of my New Year's resolutions is this summer I'm going to give audiobooks a new go. So you can give me recommendations on where to start.
I will give you a list of good narrators that I love and adore. I don't think though that riding a bicycle let me wind back a bit. Depending on the genre.
Okay.
There's some narrators that just have that silky smooth that they could read you the yellow pages.
Right.
And you'd be fine with it.
Right.
And then depending on the genre, when it gets a little bit more descriptive.
Right.
And you mix that voice in together, you might lose where you're at and trip and fall on a bike. We do not want you injured.
Okay.
So we'll start off depending on the genres and stuff like that, and get your driving and stuff like that at least, and figure out what your tones and stuff like that. So your books have also become in audiobooks. Mm-hmm. I've checked through the list because I've listened to a bunch of them, but they all have different narrators to some extent. I know that you have mentioned that you weren't really part of the process, but you were given a couple of things.
Right.
Have you listened to your own books to kind of a little bit there?
I have listened to my... I'll be quiet for a second. I have listened to snippets of my own books, but again, it's not a book that I've read, it's a book that I've written, and so it doesn't matter how great the narrator is, they're not doing the voice the way I do it in my head, so it's very difficult for me to listen to my own narrators, and I don't get a choice of narrator. I don't just get to go out and choose. Usually my publishing house sends me 2 or 3 that I have to sort of choose from. And like I was telling you earlier, since my books are so alpha hero driven, a lot of reader or listener feedback that I get is that they would prefer if it were a male narrator. But for whatever reason, I'm never given male narrators as an option. So I always kind of find it fascinating.
It is fascinating. Yeah, we've learned, again, 3 years doing this series, and it was interesting to learn that a lot of times the authors have no say or little.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
And sometimes they don't even are aware that they have been made into audiobooks.
Exactly.
They're like, ooh, surprise.
Yeah.
But then you're right, as far as the point of view comes across, it's very male driven, your series.
Right.
I would love to have it in a dual where you have a female narrator reading the female parts and the male.
I would love that too. I think that becomes an expense
It is. It is
because you have
a
to
bigger
pay
expense.
the two narrators.
It is.
Yep.
It is. But when done right.
Oh, I know. I've heard some people rave about it. That
Exactly.
It can be done so well.
So I'm hoping maybe the publishing houses are listening. Hint, hint.
Right. Exactly.
Yep. So what's coming next for you, aside from all the writing and stuff? I mean, we're here at RT, but anything?
Yes, so completely non-authory. My husband and I are huge baseball fans. I live in Chicago, so we're big Cubby fans, world champions, go Cubs. And so one of our kind of check off the list of things we want to do is hit a bunch of ballparks. We've been to maybe 10. And so at the end of summer, August through September, we are flying from Chicago into Washington, D.C., and we're going to hit the Washington, D.C. Nationals, the Baltimore Orioles, the Philadelphia Phillies, the New York Mets, the New York Yankees, and then the Boston Red Sox. And we're going to hit all of those ballparks in 13 days and catch games there. So we're super excited about that. That's how big of baseball fans we are. So,
well, I see your posts.
Yes. Yes.
On social media,
Right.
the jerseys or
exactly.
the
I know.
the
Like,
food. You're so at a ballpark.
We're totally in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, while you're traveling,
Yes.
you could do the audiobook stuff
Absolutely.
too, in the air and stuff.
Absolutely.
So I'll have to make sure that you
Yes.
have a nice little list there of
I would love that.
books and stuff like that. Well, thank you so much for
Thank you
taking
so
the time.
much.
Thank you
I
for the
appreciate
patience
it.
and the
Oh,
multiple change of
it's a
venues and
conference.
cameras.
It's a conference. That's what happens.
We will be sharing you guys with the audio clips of her series, as well as some more information on her and her books. So stay tuned. Thank you.